Today's Nebraska Wesleyan University Sports Network telecast is made possible by Lincoln Electric System. It's your electricity, own it. Union Bank, you belong here. And Nebraska Wesleyan University.
Fall is definitely in the air in southeast Nebraska this afternoon as we get ready for the 5th football game of the season and the 100th meeting between Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Moats along with Lucas Mormon here on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network as we get set for the 100th meeting this afternoon from Al Papik Field here in Crete. And Lucas, as you know, this rivalry is really a big deal, as I've dubbed it before, Nebraska's version of Bedlam. But aside from the so-called hatred, there's a lot of respect between these two programs.
Well, there should be, Jeff. 100 times they've met. The record going into this one, 47, 46, and 6. Doane has a one-game advantage. Nebraska Wesleyan looking to tie it up in the 100th meeting. How appropriate it is. It's a fun one.
Well, again, it's a rivalry game, first and foremost. So how do teams like Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane get prepared for such games like this? We bring in our third member of the broadcast team, former Nebraska running back Corey Ross, who can tell us more on what it's like to get prepared for a rivalry football game. Corey?
Yes, our rivalry games are just special games. I know you get the politically correct answer. It's just another game. But as a former player, I played in a ton of rivalry games against Colorado Buffaloes back when Nebraska was in the Big 12. And we used to want to be focused, and that's what Nebraska Wesleyan coaches and Doane coaches are talking about. You must be focused, but you have to realize this is a rivalry game. You want to be the ones to tell each other, hey, we got that win, we got that victory this year, and you go the entire year talking about how you beat the team that was your rivalry. This is an important game. No matter what they say, it's just not another game. This is a rivalry game, and this is going to be exciting today.
Here at the game,
All right, Corey, thanks a lot. And when we look at last year's game, Lucas, went down to the wire. Nebraska Wesleyan winning 20-19. It was Tyler Francis throwing a touchdown pass to Connor Zumpf for the essential game winner. Obviously, one of the key things today and the key points of the game today is that Nebraska Wesleyan needs to look at Connor Zumpf on offense. Third straight game of 100 receiving yards last week against Northwestern.
Yeah, and he accounts for a lot of the offense. He does. Tyler Francis, he accounts for 40% of the yards that he's thrown for. Tyler Francis has thrown 4 touchdowns, so Zumpf has caught 2 of them. So you got to get Zumpf involved early, often. Those two need to be in sync for things to go well. Also, for him to be able to do that, he needs to be protected. They need to protect the quarterback. Tyler Francis was sacked 6 times last week for negative 48 yards. So they need to protect against a Doane defense ranked 6th in the nation, sacking the quarterback. They'll be putting their ears back all day, and the defense for Nebraska Wesleyan has to step up. They did last week. They played a solid game. Phil Latimer was back, Hunter Hand, Kelby Vandenberg, David Jennings. They had 34 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss between those guys. They need to be here again today. This is a rivalry game.
And, Lucas, if you're Doane, you need to make Nebraska Wesleyan one-dimensional as possible on offense.
Well, and that really, Jeff, shouldn't be a real hard thing to do. They come in, Nebraska Wesleyan, averaging just 5 rushing yards per game. That's per game, not per carry, not per half, 5 yards per game. A lot of that with those negative yards and the sacks, but they need to keep that focus on Tyler Francis and the passing game so they can pin the earbacks and come after him. Offensively, Doane has a balanced attack. They need to stay balanced. Kenny Boggs out of the backfield. They'll go Brandon Stewart to Nick Reed, the basketball product out there at wide receiver. That's another way they'll do it. And then the turnover battle, Jeff. In a rivalry game like this, if you can win that turnover battle, chances are pretty good you're going to win the game.
You know, just a little bit ago, both teams announced their all-time teams in this 100-year rivalry between Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane. Let's take a look at those all-time teams.
There you see the all-time teams for Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane. And there you see the all-time team for Nebraska Wesleyan. The quarterback, Gary Fate. Byron Stallworth, who was a running back in the mid-'70s. Roy Jacobson, who was another running back. The wideouts, Darren Stolman and Chad Wimhoff, a former Pius X product. The tight end is Josh Beaver. The offensive lineman, there you see Sean Bowens, who wanted to become a Detroit Lion in the NFL, former Northeast player. Same thing with Cliff Squires, another Northeast product. Back in the mid to late 40s. Brian Bowling, a former Southeast standout. There you see Ron Nannon. Boy, the Nannons, they were common down in the southern part of Lancaster County. A lot of them went into playing college ball at Nebraska Wesleyan. Jeff Seek, of course, that offensive line, and the kicker Lee Jamison on that all-offense team for Nebraska Wesleyan. As we move on to the defense, the all-defense team for Nebraska Wesleyan, Steve Taylor, Mike Einspar, former Rocket, who was a teammate of Matt Francis at Northeast. Matt Franzen on the all-time team for Doane. Phil Latimer, the All-American, who's on the current roster for Nebraska Wesleyan. There you see Doug Hahn, Nolan Urban, Jamie Kernan, Scott Bostwick, the late Scott Bostwick, Phil Shore, who we managed to see a few times over the years with the Prairie Wolves, Ed Woolman, the defensive back, Kevin McGovern, former Pius X standout, Matt Held, Jay Lindstrom will be the punter on that all-defensive team, and the head coach, Harold Chaffee, on that team as well. The Doane all-time team, quarterback Larry Green from the late 60s, Mike Sawyer, Ron Barker, Tyrone Curry, who we saw here in the last couple of years, Clifford Smith, Jeff Jochum on that team. There you see Matt Franzen, the current head coach for the Tigers. And a few other names down the list, of course, John Reeves and Mark Pentico on that team, as well as the kicker. And on the defense, a few other names on that list, too. Steve Tatum among them, that linebacker. Jesse Gromeyer on that all-defensive team, too. Brandon Kuhl, there's another familiar name. Brandon Kuhl, the head coach now at Kearney High School. And Al Papik, the head coach. There you see the list of players on that all-Doane team from all time. The 100th meeting between Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane.
Teams from both Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane. Now we look at the key players for today's game. In this matchup here at Al Papik Field, we mentioned Connor Zumpf. Sure. He's a guy that's got to be the go-to guy in the air. Again, 3 straight games where he's had more than 100 receiving yards in the last 3 meetings, or at least the last 3 games that Nebraska Wesleyan has played. Look for him to be a key force. Tyler Francis is a guy that's had 977 yards of passing already so far this season. The other guys to keep an eye on, Phil Latimer. Phil Latimer's been a big force on that defensive line. He's an All-American from last year. Look for him to be such a key player on defense. And then when you look at the other side of the defense, too, in the linebacking spot, Seth Wardeen, he's only 8 tackles away from 200 for his career.
Yeah, and he had an interception last week against Northwestern, 2-time academic All-American. Wardeen's going to be a key for Nebraska Wesleyan defense. For Doane, Kenny Boggs out of the backfield for the Tigers, averages almost 80 yards a game. He averages 5.1 yards per carry himself. Defensively, Garrett Borchers, the linebacker, he came in tied for second in the GPAC in tackles with 43. He's tied with Nebraska Wesleyan's Vandenberg. 5 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, and the wide receiver, we talked about him before, Nick Reed, 6'4", 225, basketball All-American. He'll have an advantage out there on the smaller DBs of Nebraska Wesleyan.
Should be an interesting matchup here. It's the 100th meeting between these 2 historic football programs, Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane. Stick around for the kickoff here at Al Papik Field. That's coming up next on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
I always paid attention to fashion when I was growing up. And it's just fun to see it go from sketch pad all the way to actually being on shelves. Shoulder is a scarf with a pocket that you can store all of your basic necessities in. I think it's pretty amazing how quickly the company's grown. Union Bank has believed in me from day one. They have moved mountains for me to bring my product to life. The opportunity with Shoulder has led me all over the country. I love what I do.
I picked Wesleyan because
it's a school that whatever you want to be in life, you can certainly do it.
I wanted a small school, small campus where I could be one-on-one with my professors.
It's just like one big family. Not to mention the kind of education she gets is wonderful.
I didn't apply to any of the schools. I know Wesleyan was the one that I wanted to come to.
We want you to come join us and be part of the Prairie Wolf family and be a part of the tradition of success.
Nebraska Wesleyan, Garrett McCarthy, and Doane getting ready to kick off here at Al Papik Field here in Crete.
Crete did win the Tigers won the toss. They've elected to defer. So Nebraska Wesleyan with the football to start the count. Get ready to go here in this 100th meeting from field here at Memorial Stadium in Crete. Good afternoon. Doane with the black tops And kind of a throwback helmet this year. They added that D to the side. Kind of in response to this 100th meeting throughout the season. They wanted to get that on there. Coach Franzen talked about that in Media Day, and we're underway, ready to go. That one will go out of bounds. Procedure. It'll be great field position for Nebraska Wesleyan to start the contest. We'll await the official word there from crew chief referee Andrew Fulton.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. By rule, the ball we place 35 yards. First down.
So first and 10 on the 35. Nebraska Wesleyan after that tough loss last week to Northwestern, where the defense really played well, but the offense couldn't come up with anything in the red zone. The kicking game for both squads struggled, as they'll see if they can get something going here. Tyler Francis under center. Two backs behind him in the eye. They'll turn. Little running play to start it. Bounces to the outside. Joe Weedle.
Gain of 2, second down and 8 at the 37.
2 yards for Weedle. Nebraska Wesleyan's halfway to their average per game, as they average just 5 yards per game rushing the ball. Sacks do figure into that, so that's why they struggle there. Big formation, tight end each way. Francis will drop back. Here comes the pressure, tries to elude it, swings it out in the flat. He got it out to the intended target that time. But again, that pressure, this Doane defense, number 6 in the nation in sacks against the offensive line that has been suspect at best against the sack, protecting Francis back there. Brings up 3rd and 8. Just underway here from Crete, Nebraska. So now they'll shift out. Francis, Zumpf at the top of the screen. 2 backs behind him out of the shotgun. 3-step drop, pressure coming, has to roll the pocket right. Dumps it off over the middle, that's complete. Cross midfield, and then the ball came loose, trying to pick up extra yardage, and I think that one's going to the Tigers. Noah Clausen gets the first down yardage and more, but fighting for more, loses the football, and the Tigers have it. We talked about it earlier. Let's see who came out of the pile with it.
Fumble recovered by number 25, Tanner Thomas.
Tanner Thomas recovers the football for Doane after a nice pitch and catch. Would have moved the sticks, and the first turnover of the day to the Tigers. These two teams both in the bottom of the GPAC. They ranked dead last in turnover margin. And those who can win the turnover margin, we talked about it in the open, might have a good chance to win the game. They'll swing it out on the left side. Bowling his way for first down yardage out there. That's Reed, the 6', 224-pound product out of Syracuse, Nebraska, was an All-American on the basketball court. Doing it now from that wide receiver spot. Tough matchup, 6'4". Balanced attack. Here's a little jet motion. They'll run it. They'll hand it off. Right side. Tripped up there.
Dwarf on the carry. Gain of about 4. Tackled by number 32. Keelan Vandenberg.
Vandenberg in on the tackle. He slows down Corey Kalkworth. Stewart over there.
Well, Lucas, I think we're all set and ready to go. We do apologize. Had a little bit of a technical issue as we get back to play here. Pass over the middle. It's going to be caught at the 10 and taken down around the 5-yard line. Aaron Beatty makes the stop. The reception made by Josh Fox that time. Lucas, I appreciate getting us started here. We got our technical issues resolved, and we should be back in business, but nice little pickup there.
And now Doane's going to try and tempo them as they get right up to the line of scrimmage. Don't allow any substitutions.
Brandon Stewart going to give it off to the ball carrier that time.
Loss of 1.
And the ball carrier happens to be Nate Meyer that time. So David Jennings in on the stop for the Prairie Wolves. 2nd and goal coming up here for Doane. Inside the 10 at the 8-yard line of Nebraska Wesleyan. So they'll work from right in between the hashes, just inside the right hash mark. Boggs in motion. Stewart going to lob it in toward the end zone, into the air for the touchdown. And the reception made by Nick Reed, the wide receiver, the former Syracuse Rocket, gets on the scoreboard with the first 6 of the game and the point after coming up for the Tigers.
Well, we said Nick would be one of those players to watch as they shoot the big cannon there in the end zone. At 6'4", 225, he is a matchup nightmare out there on DBs. Good leaping ability, throw it to the back of the end zone. He had 2 big catches on that drive alone.
Here's the extra point from Peterson. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Doane Tigers strike first. 12:35 to go, opening quarter. 7-0 start for the Tigers here in the 100th meeting of this rivalry matchup between Doane and Nebraska Wesleyan.
A fast start from the Tigers, and all because of the turnover. And in a game like this, where really you take your stat sheets and you throw them out the window, turnovers is that one area that if you win that makes a heck of a difference, Jeff.
If we can, let's check in with Corey Ross down on the field and try to get what the scene is like down from his perspective with this matchup this afternoon. Corey?
Once again, be sure to buy your T-shirt commemorating this 100th game between Wesleyan and Doane.
And we'll try to get to Corey here in a moment as he gets situated. Again, he's kind of walking along the sidelines today, and again, we'll find out from him in just a moment on what the mood is like down there from the field perspective for both teams as Doane takes an early 7-0 lead here over the Prairie Wolves.
Capitalizing on the turnover. That opening kickoff did sail out of bounds. Nebraska Wesleyan had good field position in their own 35 to start the football game. Let's see how this one ends up.
And Schneider gets it at about the 5. Schneider trying to find a path, and he is stopped at the 25-yard line.
Schneider on the return.
Quick return there that time, and not much. Andrew Vintnen on the tackle for Doane. And the Prairie Wolves will begin their second drive on offense.
Got a shaken up Prairie Wolf down there. Looks like it's Seth Wardeen.
Yeah, Wardeen shaken up, and that's one guy that Nebraska Wesleyan cannot afford to lose on defense, and he is going to be helped off.
Good crowd this afternoon, of course, for this 100th meeting, a rivalry game.
Well, how about the contingent that showed up for Wesleyan across the way on the west side of the stadium? Of course, this side full of Doane fans, and there's overflow that spills over onto the track, the Lauritsen track here at Al Papik Field, and a lot of folks here today for this game. This is such a big deal. The tailgating folks across the street on the other side of East 13th Street, they've been there for quite a while this morning. And I would imagine they were starting to get primed up and ready to go probably about 7 o'clock.
I think this is an all-week affair.
It is. Well, it's homecoming, too. Here is Francis. Weedle takes the carry, and he is surrounded by black jerseys over on the middle part of the field. Colton Mockin on the tackle for Doane.
And you know that 5 yards per game average is a little deceiving because sacks do figure into that negative yardage. But even despite that, they were sacked 6 times last week against Northwestern for 48 yards. They still had a negative 14-yard rushing in the other 19 attempts.
There you see the all-time series. Doane leads it 47, 46, and 6. Last 10 years, Nebraska Wesleyan has won 7 of the last 10 meetings in the past 10 years. Francis looking to throw. Zump, his favorite target at the 45. Breaks free down the middle of the field. He's got green space. He's going to take it in for the touchdown. 72-yard toss.
Said they had to get going early and often, Jeff, and Connor Zump with a couple nice moves after the catch. Francis had just enough time to deliver the football, and just like that, another former basketball player with a touchdown here.
Look at this. Breaks a tackle, good block, and Zumpf had green space ahead of him, and now the point after coming up as Kramer Rath, the former Southwest Silverhawk, will attempt the extra point. Here it is, the snap of the hole, the kick is up, and it is good, and we are deadlocked at 7 apiece. And Nebraska's version of Bedlam back to Al Papik Field in a moment.
Oh, hi there. Sorry, couldn't see you at first. I'm Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy, and it's first Filter Friday, so I'm just checking my furnace filter here. Looks like it's about time for a clean one, which I just happen to have right here. You know, a small investment today can really reduce your heating costs and improve your efficiency. You can really see the savings. Yeah? For more tips like this, visit us at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube. We will see you next time.
There you see Connor Zumpf breaking the tackle and right down the middle of the field on a 72-yard touchdown reception.
Well on his way to a 4th straight week of 100 yards receiving.
Unreal.
Interesting. Nick Reed, All-American basketball player, catching the first one for Doane. Former basketball player for Nebraska Wesleyan, Connor Zumpf, now the standout wide receiver for Nebraska Wesleyan.
So it does pay off to play basketball and to be effective in a game of football where you can make big catches like that. 7-all here early on first quarter of this 100th meeting between the Prairie Wolves and the Tigers, and a high end over end kick going to be picked up at about the 2. And on the return, coming over here near side, breaking free, 40, Dershawn Walder to the 30. He's going to break another tackle, and guess what? He's going to be bumped out just outside the goal line. And did he cross the plane?
Well, now we have a signal for a touchdown. And the real question is, did he break the plane and then fumble it and then a recovery, or did he just break the plane? I don't know. I thought maybe he was going to be brought down short.
A 98-yard kickoff return. Take a look at this again.
He picked up a couple nice blocks right there.
Look at Walder.
And then just plain speed. Rath does a good job of trying to get off his block, but it's not enough.
Wow. But now
we're going to get an explanation here from Andrew Fulton.
The ruling in the field that the runner stepped out of bounds at the 2-yard line. First down, Doane College.
So take that back. So it's about a 96-yard return. So it will be 1st and goal from the 2. And Doane, regardless, is still in business with an opportunity here to really
take a look, and I think it's right there.
Yeah. But the ball popped out.
The ball did pop out, but he touched that white line first, so stops the play. It was kind of confusion back there. They got together, talked it over, and made sure they got it correct.
So Stewart, the quarterback, in the backfield is Nate Meyer. And direct snap to Meyer. He's going to go around right side. He's going to hop over and take it into the end zone for a touchdown.
Just a little wildcat formation there. Meyer was in the backfield. Direct snap to him, and he takes it right in. And just like that, we played 3 minutes, 40 seconds, Jeff, and it's double the scoring we saw last week.
There you see that wildcat and that play as Meyer takes it into the end zone. Now the point after coming up from the Crete native, Jordan Peterson. All too familiar with this setting, of course, played his high school ball here. The extra point is up from Peterson. It is good. 11:21 to go, first quarter, and it's already Doane on top, 14-7. Back in just a moment on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
Pick Wesleyan because
it's a school that whatever you want to be in life, you can certainly do it.
I wanted a small school, small campus where I could be one-on-one with my professors.
It's just like one big family. Not to mention the kind of education she gets is wonderful.
I didn't apply to any of the schools. I know Wesleyan was the one that I wanted to come to.
We want you to come join us and be part of the Prairie Wolf family and be a part of the tradition of success.
Some of the snapshots of games from years past between these two teams. They've been close, there have been blowouts. And of course, last year, there you see the picture from Connor Zumpf from a year ago. He had a big game in that matchup at homecoming last year for the Prairie Wolves as Nebraska Wesleyan won 20-19. Ensuing kickoff going into the end zone for a touchback as Brooks Earhart watches it go out of the end zone. But the momentum, after Wesleyan picked it up to tie it up at 7, that kickoff for about 96 yards really turned the tide again. There you see the starters on the line for Nebraska Wesleyan. Westfall, Valliard, Smith, Nordby, McCarthy over there. Larson, Zumpf, Earhart, Clausen, those are the receivers. And the quarterback, Tyler Francis. Lovell, the fullback. Weedle is the tailback. And now they're going to shift things up as they put Clausen over on the left side of the line. He's the tight end. And now Francis with a little play action throws the ball over here near side, and it goes incomplete. And intended target that time was Austin Ruskamp. Ruskamp, they're lining him up as a slot man, Lucas. And there you see the Doane defensive starters, Frank Crawford, Velasek, along with Hanlon, Thatch, Borcher, Mock, Garcia, and Tatum are in the linebacking core. There you see Walder, Muff, and Thomas. Walder was the guy that had the 96-yard kickoff return that set up the 2-yard touchdown run for Meyer. So from the 25, Larson going in motion on 2nd and 10. Here is the pitch, and it's Jones who's going to take it around right side. He is forced back down. Gets about 2 yards to the play to the 27-yard line. That swarm of defenders from Doane College there to make the stop. Garrett Borcher among them over there to make the tackle.
Second leading tackler in the GPAC, Borcher, tied with Vandenberg, but they try to go outside a little bit, but that Doane defense shows good speed, flow to the football, slow down the rushing attack. They got to try and manufacture some sort of threat on the ground. Otherwise, Tyler Francis just isn't going to have any time to throw back there all afternoon. As now they shuffle a few people. A little bit more motion and shifts this afternoon so far, trying to confuse that defense.
Francis in trouble. Deep in the pocket, and he's going to be taken down. And he is taken down big time by Aaron Hanlon, who came in blitzing, and DJ Baumsberger was over there too, Lucas. So the Doane defense coming through to make the stop. A 3-and-out here for the Prairie Wolves.
Well, and they're just no contain at all. Francis, like I say, he usually moves the pocket fairly well and can avoid a little bit of the pressure, but this year he's just had no shot back there. Once they've taken care of that rushing game, it's just open season on Tyler Francis.
Gelb with the punt.
It's a great punt.
It's a nice-looking punt. Josh Boggs going to pick it up. He's going to return it to the near side. And he is taken down from behind by Wes Betcher. Betcher makes a stop around the 48-yard line. Doane will have it in their own territory midfield.
You got a Josh Boggs and a Kenny Boggs, but if you take a look at the Doane starters there, at the front line, Reeves, Todd, Romero, Shores, and Brunner. There's Josh Boggs, one of the wide receivers. They'll use him in some motion things. Brandon Stewart, Kenny Boggs, and Nick Reed in the backfield. And there's Josh Boggs.
So men in motion. It's a pitch. Turn around, coming over here. Dylan Gayton was in on the tackle, or on the carry that time, and now we got an injured Prairie Wolf on the field. And we'll get to that in a moment. There you see the starters on the defensive line: Jennings, Lindgren, Latimer, and Lawrence. Vandenberg, Wardeen, Hand. And there you see Kelbarad, Bainey, Shoemaker, and Richards.
Looks like it's Lawrence is the one who's down. Now he's up under his own power. He'll get to the sideline for a play, and hopefully he's all right.
Max Lawrence, 6'2", 230-pound junior out of Donovan Trumbull. He'll come out
at the 46-yard line.
So now Doane, on the loss of 2 on the last play, will have it 2nd and long at their own 46. They'll spread it out. Stewart will send 2 receivers far side, 3 here on the right side. Stewart gets it. Pass is intercepted by Hunter Hand at the 50. He'll take it down the near side, and he is flipped up and stopped inside the 30. Hunter Hand played center field. He stayed in the passing lane and was able to pick off the pass.
Yeah, just backpedaled right to the middle of the field and Stewart did not see him as he was looking for his target on a little curl route. His hand, big play last week, had a tackle for loss, interception here, and just a game of big plays so far, Jeff. Each team with the turnover, the big kickoff return, big play to Zumpf. Back and forth we go, and for the 100th time, it's as exciting as ever.
27-yard line, 1st and 10, Wesleyan.
So they'll put Zumpf on the far side. Larson here on the left. Earhart the slot here on the left side. Weedle in the backfield with Tyler Francis. Francis, low snap, looking to throw. Near side, it's caught by Earhart, the 25. Bumps out of a tackle, but not for long.
Earhart is tackled after a short reception.
Gets a pickup of about 3 on the play to the 24.
Call it a gain of 4, 2nd down and 6 at the 24.
Now watch it, that formation, if they come back again. That time, it was one-on-one on the outside. Zumpf on the far side of the field against Seth Henry. Henry, 5'7", 166 pounds, sophomore out there. And again, it looks like man coverage out there.
Play action toss, and it's caught by Lovell, but he is wrapped up quickly and taken down on the play by Garrett Borcher.
Wow. Talk about zero time to worry about throwing the ball. Francis turned around, and he had to get rid of it because pressure was coming. Good hands by Lovell, but still a loss on the play, 3rd and 10.
So we're back at the 27. So far, Doane has made it one-dimensional as far as the offensive scheme goes for Wesleyan. Now they're going to shift things up. Earhart split out far side with Zumpf, Larson, and Jones here on the left. Francis, ball swatted, knocked down, and it goes incomplete.
By Baumsberger. It's 4th down.
Tell you what, Trevor Valier for Nebraska Wesleyan became a DB, and he's a center. He did a good job of breaking this up right at the end of the play. Off the back of the helmet.
So now your 4th down situation.
Well, right here, the wind not a big factor, but be about a 30.
27.
Now you're looking at a 42-yarder, and Nebraska Wesleyan's only made 1 field goal all season. It was a 36-yarder,
so they'll go. Here is Francis on 4th down. He's in trouble. Gets out of a jam, looking downfield. Tip drill up in the air. It goes incomplete. Big play that time defensively for Doane, and it was Tanner Thomas who tipped that ball away. Well, and so the Tigers get it back.
Francis buys himself just enough time to even be able to get rid of it.
Tigers at the 27.
Otherwise, it was going to be another sack on the afternoon.
But how important has the Wesleyan defense been today? You know, we saw, early touchdown, and then, of course, the kickoff return for the eventual 2-yard run. Stewart, far side, pass is complete. Reception by Alex Trevino. And Trevino is going to be marked out to 34 as he runs out of bounds.
At the 34.
This is a Doane offense averaging just at 350 yards, right over it per game. So they're not lighting the world on fire either, but a very balanced attack. You got to account for everything.
Handoff given that time for Clayton Moore. Moore out of Friend, Nebraska, just up the road from Crete.
Going to be just near those sticks.
It's close.
Sean Lindgren.
1st down marker is at the 37. It is close. Doane says they got the 1st down.
They're going to measure it, I think.
Not quite. Let's see.
Yep, they're going to bring it out. Tried to eyeball it, but
how close is it?
Coach Frenzen on the sideline for Doane. 3-4 against Nebraska Wesleyan in his 8th season. Both these coaches, Coach Franzen and Coach Keller, both coaching their alma maters. He was an All-American lineman. He was on the All-Doane team.
Yep. And interesting thing about Matt Franzen, he grew up not too far away from Wesleyan's campus. He's a Northeast kid. and he decided to go play college football down here at Doane. And a lot of good athletes from Lincoln have come down here to play football or any other sport. So it's been kind of a mix, and it looks like the football is going to be just short of getting the first down. So this will be 3rd and inches here for Doane on this next play. They give credit, Matt Franson, a great career football-wise as a player, and so far rebuilding this program into a competitor in the GPAC. Here's a pitch. Kenny Boggs breaks it, gets the first down, tackled around the 41-yard line. David Jennings, Riley Shoemaker over there to make the stop.
Tackled by number 33, Shoemaker.
So just across the 40. We'll put it at the 41. 1st and 10 here for Doane.
And now you see Doane tempo again. First down, get right up on the line, get ready to go. Then they'll look to the sideline here. A little confusion on that offensive front here. 13 to snap it. Stewart sees something else.
Now we got movement. Flag's coming out. False start against Doane.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard.
5-yard penalty against Doane. It's going to be 1st and 15.
Well, you saw the head official because I think he got caught up in the delay. There's a bit of a delay from the announcer to the speakers here at Al Papik Field. So that can be very distracting. Stewart, 1st and long. Pass near side. It is complete at the 50-yard line. The catch made by Nick Reed.
17-yard reception by number 20, Nick Reed.
And there was safety help there, but safety came up. Looked like he was going to take the in-between route. Got sucked in.
So we'll spread it out again here on 1st and 10. Stewart, catch made. Kind of a diving catch at time by Ryan Leaf, who makes the short reception of about 7 yards to the 41 of Nebraska Wesleyan. They hurry up offensively, no huddle. That really does speed things up, and now Stewart out of the gun. Meyer with him in the backfield, gets the handoff. Meyer finds an opening to the 35, still on his feet. Finally corralled inside the 30-yard line at about the, well, they're going to mark it at the 30. But we got penalty flags here. One thrown about the 41-yard line. Let's see what the official ruling is.
Holding. Offense number 59. 10-yard penalty. Play second down.
Good tough run, though, by Meyer. He's kind of he's the punisher of the two in the bunch. He'll power run, come right over the top of you. Negates a nice play by him. And last week we saw this Nebraska Wesleyan defense kind of bend, don't break. They gave up some big plays, but they kept Northwestern out of the end zone for all but that one touchdown. Trying to do the same.
Pressure's on. Short screen toss goes incomplete. And that time he was looking for Clayton Moore. But really, the rush, not really a factor there on that last play. I mean, Wesleyan was looking to get in the backfield.
Right, but Stewart Vandenberg really blew it up. He was there. Even if they complete that, he was going to drop that play for no gain at best. Brings up a big third and 14 here.
Big third down here for the Tigers. Here's Stewart. Little play action here. He's in raw the pocket. He'll keep it on the run for a moment, throws it away, goes incomplete.
Stewart's pass intended for Reed is incomplete.
Looked like Reed was the guy he was looking to go to, but it was thrown behind Reed. 4th down here, and the punting team coming out here for the Tigers.
Well, Reed's probably what he is. It's kind of that safety blanket for Stewart.
Peterson in punt formation.
Doane's used a couple different quarterbacks this season. They've kind of settled on Stewart here as of late. Wardeen, he was shaken up early, remember, on that kickoff return. But he's back there to receive this one.
Low snap. Peterson's punt, end over end. And Wardeen going to watch it bounce. And Doane, they will mark it down inside the 15 at about the 14.
That's where Wesleyan has it 1st and 10.
So the Prairie Wolves will take over here. When you look at some of the all-time bests in this series, Lincoln Journal-Star came out Saturday morning with the publication of the top game choices, top 5 from each, from Wesleyan and Doane. When you look at Doane, the number 1 has to be the 1969 game, which they beat Wesleyan 28-24. And in 2000, where Nebraska Wesleyan won 22-18 over Doane, and that happened to be the game where they made the transition from the mascot Plainsmen to Prairie Wolves. And now flags coming out here.
False start. Offense for 54. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Valier is the guy that moved on that line. So the ball moves back inside the 10.
Over at tackle before they take a look at those top 10 games. A few of them a little more recent for Nebraska Wesleyan.
Last year's game, 3rd all-time for the Prairie Wolves.
And that was over a ranked Doane squad last year.
Yep.
1942. Those have been a lot of historic games in this one, but
they've been fairly close.
Most all of them have been close. Every team gets a pick one blowout to throw on there back in
Nebraska
93, 41-14.
So the Prairie Wolves will burn a timeout. 4:54 to go here in the opening quarter. 14-7 Doane ahead of the Prairie Wolves.
What excites me is being able to build something that isn't there. We're not about following the norm, we're about creating.
New concepts, they're always in the back of my head. The burger place that everybody wants it to be.
It just went crazy, but it wasn't at a point that we knew it could fully support a new adventure.
Sebastian's Table is everything I love about food. So Union Bank willing to take on a restaurant and give us a chance. We know there's always somebody there who will back us if we want to do something new.
We don't want to slow down. We're ready to keep rolling.
The Doane Tigers lead this one 14-7 here on their homecoming in the 100th meeting between Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane. So a lot of history between these two schools. 1896, they go back as far. There were a few years, though, where the series was temporarily been put on hold, mainly because of World War II. So the I formation here for Wesleyan, and Weedle right through the middle of the line.
Weedle on the carry.
Takes it to about the 12-yard line. Still short of the line of scrimmage.
But that's a pretty good run for Nebraska Wesleyan. If they can string together some 4 or 5 yard runs just to keep the defense honest, that's what they need to do.
So this will be a second, and we'll call it 11. And now we got movement on the line. No, they're going to say timeout taken by the
Their
Prairie
second
Wolves.
charge, timeout of the half.
So we'll just keep it here, too, at 4:16 to go in this first quarter. But the way that this game has been built up, you know, we looked at this before the season started, you know, when we were getting ready to plan out our schedule, and it's like, well, the game's in Crete. Why not? I mean, it's the 100th meeting between these two teams. We knew this would be a special game. Both schools said the same thing, a very special game. So we're very privileged and honored to be down here for this this being part of history. 100 football games today, the 100th game here. All-time series led by Doane, 47-46, 6 ties in that amount of time.
Started way back in 1896. We'll give you some facts and fun numbers from 1896 throughout the broadcast this afternoon.
And you'll see some still shots, too, of some old games as Weedle on second down gets a little bit of a gain. He's about a yard short of the first down, tackled at the 22. And we got a flag on the play.
Right in the vicinity of
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 87. Half this is the goal. Replay second down.
So the tight end, Derek Cord, is called for the chop block.
Well, that was one of the better runs we've seen all season, quite honestly, Jeff. And near the first down 6, it sticks, and then it's negated by a penalty. So kind of back and forth, 1 step forward, 2 steps back here for the Prairie Wolves this afternoon. And that's what it's been. It's just been a struggle to find any consistency on the offense, minus the big day by Tyler Francis up at Briar Cliff.
Francis out of the gun. He'll spread out the offense. Weedle in the backfield with him. Looking to throw. Pass is incomplete as Corey Jones is coming in from the right side. He took a lick. He is slow to get up and looks like he is okay, but Jones the intended target that time for Tyler Francis. Just thrown a little bit behind Jones.
At this point, just need to give a little operating room here for your punter. You don't pick up the first down, so he's not standing all the way back in his own end line.
17 at the 6.
Doane's had the short field this afternoon. They had the fumble recovery, the big kickoff return, and now they got him backed up against their own end zone.
Francis in the end zone, throws the ball way to the left, and a flag thrown in the end zone. Connor Davis was his receiver, but flag in the backfield. Let's see what the penalty is.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 90. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Velasek, a senior from Spalding. That's a costly penalty.
That's huge.
Nebraska Wesleyan catches a break. We'll take a look here. As here comes Velasek and doesn't knock Tyler down, but he leans into it. Kind of gives him an extra shove, clearly after the pass was gone. Francis, a stout quarterback, able to take some hits, but that's still a penalty either way.
Larson in motion. Weedle tries to cut back in.
Another flag.
And another flag thrown. Fumble on the play. And let's see if Wesleyan recovered it. Looks like the Prairie Wolves got it back, but there's a flag thrown. This could be against the Prairie Wolves. Let's find out what might have happened if it was a holding or a block in the bag.
Show him throwing, Jeff, back in that vicinity of that chop block again, maybe. So they'll sort it out.
Holding, offense, number 48. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Nolan Clausen. So Clausen guilty of the holding call, and so the ball back at the 11.
At the 11.
See that ball come free right at the end, trying to move the pile.
So Earhart and Davis, along with Jones, those are the splits near side. Zump on the far side, short side right. Looking to blitz. Throw near side. Davis completes it, and he is tripped up at about the 20-yard line. Toward the line of scrimmage, which is at the 21.
We've seen 3 or 4 pretty good plays, 8, 9 yards, but the offense hasn't gone anywhere because every time they make a big play, they have a penalty to move them backwards. Doane had the big penalty to keep the drive alive with the roughing the passer, but kind of just spinning their tires down here on this end of the field.
So we'll spread it out again. Francis here on 2nd and 11. Francis near side. Larson to about the 25. Ran out of bounds around the 25-yard line. Nice little pickup that time. And it is Tanner Thomas who makes the tackle.
And Doane just brought 4 that time. They dropped everybody else back.
And you know, Lucas, take a look at that again. It's that type of passing that seems like it's working really well and helps them get some extra yards.
And in the past, that's what's worked well for Francis, to get in a rhythm. 5-6 yard completions. If you can't get the 5 or 6 yards via the ground game, use your short passing game.
We'll check in with Corey Ross here in just a moment. Francis, far side, and it is incomplete. Davis, the intended receiver, and it goes incomplete, went right through his hands. Corey Ross, I know we wanted to check in with you earlier. How's the atmosphere down there from what you're seeing on the sideline?
Josh Boggs. Number 30, Andrew Gelb.
These guys are very focused. They're excited. They know that they can play with the
I think we're having different
offense and do things well. That game and then off. Oh, we got a block punt.
And a block punt going to be picked up at about the 3, and they're going to say he was down.
The punt is blocked.
And it was recovered by
Deshaun Walder. Special teams, Deshaun Walder. He was seeing 6 again there. He just couldn't quite scoop it and score, but again, inside the 5 after another turnover in special teams play.
We apologize
the punt was blocked by number
as
16,
Corey's mic was cutting out. We'll try to catch up with him again later. And there you see Walder
and you
with
talked
the
about
recovery.
Block kicks. Last week, DJ Baumsberger blocked a pair of PATs, a field goal. Doane's been a kick blocking machine this season so far.
So 1st and goal for the Wesleyan 4. And another quarterback, Eric Schnacker, it looks like, or at least a direct snap to Schnacker. And
Jack Shadley in there.
Or Shadley, I beg your pardon. It is Jack Shadley. Jack Shadley, freshman out of Columbus Lakeview. His father, former basketball coach, now the athletic director at Lakeview. And he's got some ties to Northeast Lincoln. Jake Shadley, his father, is a former Northeast Rocket. Was on the 1982 Boys State Championship basketball team.
Was my coach in high school. Played for Jack. Or Jake, rather. Remember
Lob
when
into
Jack
the end
was
zone.
born.
Tip drill. Cut! Oh, my. Holden Wetzler. It was tipped up, and he happened to catch it in the far corner of the end zone.
Look what I found.
Talking about being in the right place in the right time. We'll get a look at this here again as Shadley looking to go into the end zone to a different target.
That was a little bit underthrown, but hey, a touchdown pass is a touchdown pass, I guess.
Kalkworth was the intended target, but it's Wetzler who gets it. The extra point from Jordan Peterson is good, and Doane finds themselves ahead 21-7 on Nebraska Wesleyan with just 1:17 to go in the first quarter. Back to Al Papik Field in a moment.
Oh, hi there. Sorry, couldn't see you at first. I'm Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy, and it's first Filter Friday, so I'm just checking my furnace filter here. Looks like it's about time for a clean one, which I just happen to have right here. You know, a small investment today can really reduce your heating costs and improve your efficiency. You can really see the savings. For more tips like this, visit us at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube. We will see you next time.
Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network coverage of GPAC football, the 100th meeting between Doane and Nebraska Wesleyan. And the Tigers lead it 21-7 on a heck of a play deep in Wesleyan territory as Jack Shadley essentially threw a touchdown pass, but it was to the wrong receiver.
He almost threw an interception. But the old tip drill worked well.
And here is Earhart just outside the goal line on the return. Earhart going to be ran out of bounds close to the 20-yard line. But it was just, it looked like he was going to Corey Kalkworth, and the ball was tipped up, and Wetzler was right there nearby, and he caught the ball. If you go back to 1896, the first meeting between these two schools, outgoing president Grover Cleveland was in office. McKinley beat William Jennings Bryant in the fall election. Silas Holcomb is the governor of Nebraska back in 1896. Just a few little factoids. And Shaka Taylor gets the carry on 1st and 10, and no gain on the play.
Tackle for Doane, number 39.
But just some interesting little tidbits.
Andrew Vinton.
Back when the first meeting took place in 1896.
Great crowd this afternoon out here at Memorial Stadium, Al Papik Field.
They've got people around the Lauritsen track. They've got railings. I mean, this is a big deal. This is a big game. And just a fantastic turnout.
Wesleyan's got to get some kind of rhythm, whether it's that short passing game or get something going in the running game.
Over the middle, Francis. Corey Jones got sandwiched up.
Pass is caught for a
and he
first down.
caught the ball.
And that one was fit into a window there by Francis. Wow.
Take a look at this again. He got, he got crunched up big time. Corey Jones with a great catch.
Is going to be like, hey, maybe next time just don't throw that one my way.
Another former Northeast Rocket.
What a catch, though.
Making the catch, Corey Jones. So first down here for the Prairie Wolves with 5 seconds to go here in the quarter. This will likely be the last play as time runs out. And it's Shaka Taylor who gets the carry. And Taylor takes it 2 yards to the 35-yard line as time winds out here in this opening quarter. But Doane makes a statement early and fast. They lead it after 1 quarter of play here at Al Papik Field. And it's 21-7 Doane over Nebraska Wesleyan. Second quarter coming up in just a moment.
My first exposure to agriculture was my grandpa's farm. I just had a passion for it from the beginning.
The hard work wasn't just talked about when we were growing up. It was done. The animals had to be taken care of. There's a pride in being able to say, those are our livestock.
We know we're young, but Union Bank has given us a chance. We want to leave our son the legacy of family working together and working hard.
Anything can be a lot of work, but when you find a passion, it's not near as hard.
Loose football on the field. It's going to be back in the hands of Wesleyan. Coming up with it, running it back in the end zone for the touchdown. Reverse it, but give it back to Artoski. Airs it out downfield. Warren to receiver, and it's picked off by Phil Ford.
Flashback to 2006, Lucas. That was my first game on the mic covering this rivalry. As Nebraska Wesleyan won that game down here at Doane.
You know, Nebraska Wesleyan in that first quarter, they do have 110 yards of offense, but let's not forget, of those 72 came on Connor Zumpf's touchdown reception.
Zumpf with a catch across the 50. Did he say, did he get, yeah, they're going to say a catch. Doane thought he was out of bounds. Connor Zumpf with another big grab and gets a first down
by Connor there on the sideline. Pretty good ball from Francis. Puts it where only his guy is going to get it.
He's going to be close to getting 100 yards already on that last pickup. One receiver far side here for Wesleyan. Here is Shaka Taylor. Taylor gets it to the 48. Really no gain on the play.
There just is no running room for the Wesleyan backs.
It seems like when they try to go through the middle of the line, the hole is not big enough to allow those guys to get through. And that's been kind of the drawback all season as far as Wesleyan's ground game is concerned.
And they've mixed it up, too. They've tried the big wide splits when Weedle was back there and against Northwestern, and looked like maybe they had something going, but they just have yet to find that right mix. And really, it's just about getting after it on the offensive line.
Francis, far side, diving catch. It is complete. Connor Davis makes the catch at the 41.
Davis catches that one. He's had two other routes just like that, comeback routes where Francis is trusting that he's going to be where he's supposed to be because he's letting go of that long before Davis is out of his break. And a couple times he's been slow out of his break and it's been incomplete passes. That time he's able to come back and make the diving grab. But there's yards to be had there on that route if they can just get synced up on the same page.
We'll put Clausen as the tight end left side. Francis here on third down looking to throw. Downfield, he got a man down there. And Zumpf who makes a catch at the 10 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
Caught for a touchdown, number 81.
Zumpf just got behind the coverage that time, and in the coverage was Tanner Thomas. And they brought some pressure up the middle, a little extra heat. And Francis was able to roll the pocket right, and Zumpf is got 2 TDs in the way and was well over 100 yards.
Nice catch by Connor Zumpf. There, of course, is a bit of a height advantage between Zumpf and Thomas, but...
Well, he was behind the coverage. Francis could have let him another 5 yards, so now we got whistles.
What do we got here? False start.
Legal substitution on Doane, I believe. Bid.
Illegal substitution. 12 in the field. Defense. Half of this is the goal. Replay the try.
Again, the point after, number 31.
So they'll move it up about a yard or two. And he'll attempt it from about the 9 or at least the 8, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's right inside the 10 where they normally try. So the point after. Snap in the hole. The kick is blocked. Aaron Hanlon might have been the guy that blocked it.
The kick is blocked.
And again, another block kick for Doane.
They had 2 blocked PATs last week, and that made a big difference in their win over Midland.
But the Prairie Wolves get a touchdown as they cut the deficit down to 8. There you see it again. Yep, it was Hanlon who made the block. 13:15 left here, quarter number 2, back in 30 seconds.
Because
It's a school that whatever you want to be in life, you can certainly do it.
I wanted a small school, small campus where I could be one-on-one with my professors.
It's just like one big family. Not to mention the kind of education she gets is wonderful.
I didn't apply to any of the schools. I know Wesleyan was the one that I wanted to come to.
We want you to come join us and be part of the Prairie Wolf family and be a part of the tradition of success.
Here are the NAIA top 10 all-time wins. Missouri Valley with 593. There you see Doane with 524, right behind GPAC rival Hastings. How about Peru State from down the southeast part of Nebraska? 504. Nebraska Wesleyan 490. Number 10 in all-time wins in the NAIA ranks.
You gotta remember Walder 96 yards, so they'll squib it this time. And we got a flag.
Could be a false start, it looks like.
Lots of laundry this afternoon.
So they'll likely move it back and re-kick. So Wesleyan will reboot. And it will be Gelb who will kick. Check that, Kramer Rath. So Rath will kick. Here is the kickoff.
Good leg.
And Walder going to watch it go into the back of the end zone for the touchback.
Doane will have the ball on the 25-yard line.
So they'll have it at the 25 to begin their next drive.
Once again, we have a great halftime show lined up for
So it is homecoming here, and of course this will be a rather long homecoming halftime here for Doane.
Followed by several.
See who comes back out there at quarterback if we see
Jack
Shadley again.
Shadley going to come out and command the offense. He threw a touchdown pass on their last drive.
Trying to see if it's just a switch or if Stewart got banged up. Trying to find him on the sidelines here for you. Stewart seems to have his helmet on and is ready to go.
Shadley will work out of the pistol and play action. Down the field it goes. Catch going to be made at the 35, and running into the end zone is Alex Trevino for a touchdown on a 75-yard toss.
And Shadley with the sprint all the way to the end zone to congratulate his receiver.
So the freshman Shadley has thrown 2 touchdown passes already in this game for Doane.
And that was a nice play fake and a great deep ball by Shadley. Again, just over the top of the coverage. Right down the middle of the field. Just bought on that play fake. That's what having a running game will do for you. Sneak those safeties up, take a peek.
And Peterson's extra point is no good. So it's still a 14-point advantage for Doane. And with 13:06 to go before halftime, Doane extends the lead now 27-13.
Excites me is being able to build something that isn't there. We're not about following the norm, we're about creating.
New concepts, they're always in the back of my head. The burger place that everybody wants it to be.
It just went crazy, but it wasn't at a point that we knew it could fully support a new adventure.
Sebastian's Table is everything I love about food. So Union Bank willing to take on a restaurant and give us a chance. We know there's always somebody there who will back us if we want to do something new.
We don't want to slow down. We're ready to keep rolling.
Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network coverage of GPAC football. The 100th meeting between Doane and Nebraska Wesleyan. Our 5th football game of the season. And it's a 27-13 lead for Doane over Wesleyan.
Shadley with the 75-yard TD pass. He's thrown 2 passes, 2 touchdowns. Passer rating this game, 770.
And Earhart gets it at about the 2 on the kickoff. Earhart, flag thrown. This is going to come back, as Earhart finally has tackled around the 36-yard line. So the flag going to be indicating maybe a procedure issue against Nebraska Wesleyan. Let's see what the official word is.
All depends on where this block occurred.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 53, the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Nebraska Wesleyan.
So Hand commits the block in the back penalty. And from where it happened, they're going to put the football back at about the 15-yard line. So they'll go for the near side hash mark. And Tyler Francis looking to the sidelines, seeing what they need to run. And now Weedle will come in. And the play going to be relayed by him to Francis. Earhart in motion. Francis looking to short toss it to Weedle. Weedle to the 15 to the 20. Near side. Gets the first down. Up to the 40. Still on his feet. And they're going to mark him out of bounds. He stepped out around midfield. Close to the 47-yard line. Instead, they're going to move it back here. They're going to say he stepped out at the 42-yard line.
But that's a great way, Jeff, to get your running backs involved. I mean, they have some skills to offer. They just haven't been able to get an open space. And here you get Weedle out there on a little swing/screen pass and get him in open space and let him do some damage.
Jones and Larson, the 2 receivers far side. Zumpf and Earhart here on the right. On the bottom of your television screen. Francis, near side. Earhart at the 45. Makes the catch. Thrown out of bounds on the play that time by Alex Thatch. So a pickup of 3 to the 45.
Second down and 7 at the 45.
Well, it has to be the quick hitters, because even today, Doane's had a couple sacks already, so they have to find ways for Francis to get rid of it quickly or move the pocket. We've seen him roll out a couple times. He moved the pocket and rolled to his right on that second touchdown to Zumpf.
Out of the eye. Weedle through the middle of the line, gets behind a block, gets a pretty decent pickup to the 49. A 9-yard or 4-yard gain, rather. Third, and we'll call it about 3 to go. And that allowed, again, Weedle had a nice little pickup that time. Found an opening through the middle of that line.
Get, those 3-4 yard carries and put you in manageable down and distances.
Jones, line up a slot on the left side. Earhart, the other slot on the bottom of your screen. Francis finds Earhart, slides, makes the catch. The Doane 48 enough for a first down.
37. Brooks Earhart tackled by Thatch. First and 10 Wesleyan.
The Nebraska Wesleyan fans want a little bit of a late hit there on Thatch.
Boy, there's a good crowd that made the trip down for this one today. Take a look at this. So it'll be first and 10.
Best consistent drive of the day for Nebraska Wesleyan.
And they're looking to the outside routes, too. Francis dropping back. Throw far side. Jones gets it and ran out of bounds around the 42-yard line.
Nice 6-yard pickup for Jones. That's a tougher throw than one thinks, too. Francis with some good arm strength to throw it all the way out there in the flat, kind of across his body.
Unvert was the guy that forced Jones out of bounds. Second down, and we'll call it 4 at the 42 of Doane. Wesleyan working out of the I formation. Little play action here for Francis. He rolls. He's going to look upfield. Pass is complete and enough for a first down around the Doane 31 toward the 30.
Good job by Clausen to stay with the route, come back towards it. Has got a shaken up Tiger coming off. They've hit Clausen twice now. The first time he coughed it up after a big hit.
So with just over 10 minutes to go, Lucas, Wesleyan putting together another solid performance here on this drive as they go to the outside routes again.
The offense has finally found something that they can be consistent with. So short routes.
Here's a pitch. Weedle cuts out left side. And Weedle is going to be forced out of bounds. Fumble. Are they going to mark him out?
No.
Nope. Fumble went out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. So it's back at the 31, second and long.
And 11 at the 31. Loss of 1, second and 11 for Wesleyan at the Doane 31.
And it would have been about a 4-yard gain. Instead, a 1-yard loss.
Second and long for Tyler Francis. Zumpf, the main target over here on the right side. Francis, short toss. It is complete to, looks like Derek Horde, the tight end. And Horde takes it down to the Doane 22.
Pass is caught by Horde.
It's close to a first down.
Bring up third.
Nice move after the catch, too.
At the 22.
Instead of turning right to the outside, falling out of bounds, turns back inside, picks up 3 extra yards, makes it third and short.
Davis a split near side on the right. Lovell and Weedle in that I formation. And Weedle spins, and he is going to be stopped for no gain at the 22. Now fourth down coming up.
And it's only a 2-possession game, but I still think that you're probably going to see Nebraska Wesleyan line up and go for it here. They've had a PAT block this afternoon. Only 1 field goal made all season long. This one would be about a 38-yarder.
4th and 2 at the 22.
3 down linemen to start for the Tigers here. Let's see if they bring some backers up.
So the Prairie Wolves going for it. 4th and 2 from the Doane 22. Francis looking to throw. Near side. It is caught. Zumpf at the 10. Breaks tackles into the end zone. Touchdown, Nebraska Wesleyan on a 22-yard toss. And Connor Zumpf with another touchdown on the afternoon.
Wow, and he was able to shed his receiver, get open, and then make it all happen after he catches it to get to the end zone. Three touchdowns already this afternoon.
Looks like Wesleyan going to go for 2, but we got an injured Tiger on the field too. There you see Zumpf with that touchdown catch. A third touchdown of the afternoon for him, and then we got an injured Tiger on the field as well. Let's take a break. We'll come back for the point after in just a moment.
Pick Wesleyan because
It's a school that whatever you want to be in life, you can certainly do it.
I wanted a small school, small campus where I could be one-on-one with my professors.
It's just like one big family. Not to mention the kind of education she gets is wonderful.
I didn't apply to any of the schools. I know Wesleyan was the one that I wanted to come to.
We want you to come join us and be part of the Prairie Wolf family and be a part of the tradition of success.
Looks like Cole Wiseman was the guy that was hurt on the play. And now Kramer Rath will attempt the extra point. Snap of the hold. Here's the extra point attempt. The kick is up, and it is good. So Kramer Rath boots it through the uprights. And now Wesleyan within 7, within a touchdown and extra point here with 8:13 to go here in this first half. And again, a solid drive. It's Zumpf and Francis to hook up again on offense.
That's right, and it's been the short passing game that's really opened things up. They have to respect that now. That's where they're getting their yards, and then able to find Connor Zumpf. He's your big play guy. I mean, everyone knows where it's going on a big play. It's fourth and 2, or you're in the end, looking for a touchdown. Gets open right there, triple coverage all around him, then just makes it happen. He has a nose for the end zone this season. 4 catches today, 3 of them for touchdowns, well over 100 yards, 152 yards receiving, and we're 8 minutes left in the second quarter.
And that will mark the 4th straight game that he's had over 100 yards receiving. And a heck of an afternoon so far for Connor Zumpf. And now Wesleyan down 7, 27-20 with 8:13 to go in the first half.
And last week, Connor Zumpf had 147 yards receiving. That was a career high, so he's at career high again, 152. 38 yards a catch this afternoon. The 72-yarder didn't hurt that average for sure, but big play after big play for Connor Zumpf.
And it's Walder who's going to pick it up at the 5. He's on the return, finds an opening, cuts out near side. It's a foot race, and he is tripped up by the shoelaces. Coming down the near sideline, tripped up by Garrett Farr of Nebraska Wesleyan.
And that's what Walder will do for you in that kick game. Just pure speed right here after he gets a couple nice blocks, and then down the sideline he goes. It was Farr and Kramer Rath, the kicker, to beat.
So good field positioning here for Doane. 38-yard line is where the ball is marked, 1st and 10. And Shadley in at quarterback, and it's a handoff to the tailback.
Late flag coming in as well.
Ira Nunley, the 4th. Kalen Vandenberg in on the tackle.
Sort this one out. Jake.
Personal foul. Defense. Number 32. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Vandenberg with the face mask. So a nice run for Boggs, and now 15 more, and they're knocking on the door. Take a look here. Right there, he caught it. When he throws him down there. Really, probably two face masks there. So now inside the red zone here. Seems like it's been big play after big play this afternoon.
Shadley looks to throw. Pass is complete to Josh Boggs around the 10, and he's going to be marked out of bounds. He stepped out about the 8-yard line.
On the tackle, number 32, Vandenberg.
So second, and we'll call it
down in 3.
3 to go.
So they must have seen something they liked with Shadley back there, as he's got the last 3 series. Little zone read.
Here's Meyer. Forced down. Looked like Vandenberg was the guy that made the stop that time. Had some help from Lawrence.
By 32, Vandenberg.
Richards coming up from his spot as well.
1st and goal here for Doane. Just when you think Wesleyan is able to cut down that deficit more, seems like Doane just responds every time. And so they'll put Reed as the wideout far side. Over here on the left side, they'll go with Halston Hartley, the freshman.
Kelberod 5'9" over there against the 6'4" Reed. Watch the top of your screen.
And Shadley's going to keep it, and he's quickly tackled as he was going to keep it on the play. Hunter Hand over there to make the stop on Jack Shadley.
Hunter Hand.
Kind of surprised they didn't go that one-on-one matchup out there to Reed.
2nd and goal at the 3.
Got 3 touchdowns on the season coming into the game, 1 more today.
We're trying to find out what the issue is with Stewart here coming up in a little bit.
And he looks like he's all right. He's on the sideline.
I've seen him on the sideline too.
And they have used a variety of quarterbacks this season. They're just trying to find that one that fits what they're doing the best.
Shadley throws it in toward the end zone, and it's intercepted by Richards. He's down the near side. He's got green space for a moment. Can he stay ahead? Richards to the 35. He's going to cut out toward the 20, and he's finally tripped up inside the 20-yard line.
Number 15, Eric Richards.
Just in between 2 routes that time as Richards finds it, thought about taking a knee, and then I think he thought, you know what, that's a lot of green. I'm coming out.
What a pick from Eric Richards, and the Wesleyan crowd across the way coming to their feet. Watch this again. Shadley throws it, and it's picked off. And he goes down along the near sideline. He had at least one guy for a moment to beat, and then he cut back in, and finally Doane caught up with him.
And he picked up
sideline violation.
Nebraska Wesleyan. 5-yard penalty. First down, Nebraska Wesleyan.
So they're going to move it back 5 yards to the 24 on a sideline warning against the Prairie Wolves.
Zone 24.
So now Tyler Francis and company in business.
Either way, Prairie Wolves in business. See if they take a shot to Zumpf right on the first play.
Francis looking to throw. Short toss. Weedle completes it. Got an opening. 20, cuts back in. Tries to bump off another tackle, and he's fighting for yardage and a first down for Nebraska Wesleyan at the Doane 10. And they're going to mark it at the 11. And we got an injured Tiger on the field.
Mock is the injured Tiger. Play resumes.
So Colton Mock, the guy down, he's on one knee right now.
So Prairie Wolves have found a little something here on offense. The short passes, as you said, Jeff, and then not only that, but little screen passes, delays to the backside of the backfield.
It's been a while since we've talked with Corey Ross. Let's check in here in just a moment and see if we can get some updates on what Corey's seeing down on the sideline. So now,
can you guys hear? I can't hear anything. I'm sorry. Hello?
Corey, if you can, kind of tell us what the mood is now on that Wesleyan sideline after that interception downfield.
Right now, I mean, obviously the guys are just excited. I believe the defense is feeding off the offense. The offense is moving the ball, being able to score inside the red zone. So far, this game, it was limited last weekend's game. They could not get in the red zone. Right now, great job as far as red zone opportunities and scoring down there. Now the defense had a big play. It's very live and active down here. This is pretty much a rivalry game, and so they're leaving everything out there on the field today.
All right, Corey, thanks. And Weedle takes the carry, gets about 6 on the play to the 5 of Doane. Second down here for Wesleyan. Davis in motion over here to the near side. Weedle tries to bump off a tackle, runs into another, and he's going to be stopped for about a 1-yard gain to the 4 on the far side. 3rd and 3 here for the Prairie Wolves.
Alex Thatch came up from his linebacker spot. Stuffed that run. Now this is where you got to make the most of these red zone opportunities, as Corey was saying. Got to be able to punch this in. We've seen the kicking woes of the Prairie Wolves this entire season, so very important. Get one in for 6 here, not settle for 3 is under 5 minutes here in the second half.
3rd and 3. 4.5 to go before halftime. Wesleyan threatening. Francis looking to throw, and it's ball swatted away, knocked down. Frank Crawford knocks the pass down from Tyler Francis.
And he was looking for Connor Zumpf all the way. They moved Connor around in motion a little bit, had him coming out on that right side in the flat, heading towards the back of the end zone.
So Kramer Rath will come out and attempt the field goal. They'll mark it at the 11, a 21-yard attempt from the left hash mark. Essentially a chip shot, but Doane will look to be blitzing here to try to block it. Snap of the hold. The kick is up, and it's up, and it is good as Kramer Rath boots it through and pulls the Prairie Wolves to within 4, 27-23, with just over 4 minutes remaining here in the first half. Back in a moment on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
Wesleyan because
It's a school that whatever you want to be in life, you can certainly do it.
I wanted a small school, small campus where I could be one-on-one with my professors.
It's just like one big family. Not to mention the kind of education she gets is wonderful.
I didn't apply to any of the schools. I know Wesleyan was the one that I wanted to come to.
We want you to come join us and be part of the Prairie Wolf family and be a part of the tradition of success.
Well, even some of the neighbors across the street on the other side of East 13th Street can see the game perhaps from their front porch. Why not? Trying to take in a little bit of the game day experience here in Crete. Let's wave hello to them if we can. I don't know if they can see us.
It's the best seat on the house.
27-23, Doane still on top here with 4:21 to go in this first half. Jeff Moats, Lucas Mormon, Corey Ross, entire Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network crew with you this afternoon from Alpapic Field in Crete. Here's Kramer Rath, kick on the ground. It's going to be picked up by one of the up men and finally taken down, or going to be taking a knee instead. That's Ben Jansen.
And they'll take that. 34-yard line is better than what they've been doing with Walder in the kickoff game. He's been just torching them.
I think that's kind of the kicking scheme with Wesleyan. You might as well do that. Try to kick it on the ground instead of trying to boot it all the way deep and allow Walder to break free for a big return. So we'll go 2 receivers here on the near side for Doane. One on the far side, and now Stewart back in at quarterback. Gets the snap and hands it off. Trying to see who the carry was that time. It was Kenny Boggs who got the carry, the running back, the senior from Los Angeles.
Second down and 8 at the 36.
Took the carry that time, so a pickup of about 2 to the 36.
Latimer doing some work on the interior line. Got a hand in that tackle. They haven't got to any of the Doane quarterbacks yet.
Stewart, far side, almost picked and almost caught too. Seth Bourdin had coverage on the far side.
3rd and 8 for the Tigers.
Bourdin
maybe perhaps
looks to be showing any effects of that, being a little banged up earlier in the game.
So a 3rd and 8. Stewart calling out the play. He'll work from the shotgun formation. Here's the snap. Stewart looking to throw. Has some time. The blitz is on. Jennings on his tail. And the pass is complete. And it's enough for a first down. Reception made by Alex Trevino.
That is a Doane.
Looked like Nebraska Wesleyan. A little pressure up the middle. We're going to get to Stewart, but he rolled the pocket just enough and able to find his receiver. Move the chains here as clock rolls, approaching 3.5 left. Fumble
on the play. Loose football. The Prairie Wolves get it back. And it's Kalen Vandenberg who gets it back.
And that was just never handled cleanly on the quarterback-running back exchange. Just dribbled right to Vandenberg.
Well, there's going to be a few things probably talked about at halftime with Coach Franzen and his Doane Tigers.
1st and 10, Wesleyan.
Simply just taking care of the ball.
Yeah, interceptions and now a couple, fumble here. And again, after that turnover, do you take a shot on this first play? See what they do. Press coverage over here on Zump at the bottom of your screen.
Francis. Pass to Jones. Jones inside the 40, breaks free, first down, going to be forced out of bounds inside the 30 at about the 28. Well, we mentioned Matt Franzen was a part of the all-time team for Doane. A former high school teammate of his at Northeast, Mike Einspar, was on the all-time team for Nebraska Wesleyan.
28.
And Franzen is seeing his whole position, the offensive line here, doing some nice things on the little screen passes, getting downfield and blocking. He knows he used to do that for his Tigers. He's got to find a way for his defense to slow him down here. And really, it's been the bright spot here in this attack is a little screen passes each way.
Zump in motion, 1st and 10. Francis throws to Jones for a completion at about the 24-yard line.
Jones.
About a pickup of 4 on the play. 2nd down coming up here for the Prairie Wolves.
Nebraska Wesleyan does just have 1 timeout left. They burned 2 back in the first quarter when they're backed up against their own end zone. Doane won the toss, deferred, so out of the break it would be Tiger football. But Nebraska Wesleyan trying to get their first lead of the afternoon.
2nd and 6. Francis throwing toward the near side. It's going to be overthrown, incomplete, I think.
Pass is incomplete. The intended receiver was number
Francis
81.
might have miscued on that one.
They did. Their wires crossed.
3rd down for Wesleyan.
Was running a post instead of a flag there.
So 3rd and 6 to go. 4-point advantage here for Doane. Wesleyan, though, has picked up a little momentum.
6 at the 24.
In this second quarter. But Doane needs a big stop. And now Zumpf is the split near side here on the right. He's being picked up by Seth Henry. Francis looking downfield. Earhart, the intended target, diving for it, goes incomplete. 4th down coming up here for Wesleyan.
And Earhart had a step there.
4th down.
It's a little too much on it, but you want to throw that one where it's your guy or nobody that's going to get it. And that's exactly what Francis did, but just let him a little bit too far. You got to think they're lining up to go for this one once again.
So they're going to go for it.
4th and 6 at the 24.
So they'll spread out the offense here on 4th and 6. Francis throwing it, and it's going to be underthrown, incomplete. Davis looked like he was the intended target, but it's underthrown. And Doane's defense withstands the Prairie Wolf offense. So with 2:08 remaining here before halftime, Doane will take over.
We saw Nebraska Wesleyan's defense put in this position a lot last week, where after a turnover on downs or just a turnover in general, they've came out and answered the bell. Stewart back out there for this series.
Stewart looking to throw. He's going to keep it instead. He's going to slide in around the 30-yard line. Penalty flags come out.
Stewart on the carry. Penalty markers on the play.
Could be a late hit against Wesleyan. Looks like he could slide into second base just fine.
And then it's a little too much, and I think maybe the fact how he led. Let's see.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 53. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And that's something
down right there, and just the way he led. I mean, I know he saw him go into the slide, but you can't lead that way and leave your feet. So a big penalty here with 2 minutes left, 3 timeouts. Plenty of time for the Tigers here to operate. 4 down linemen this time for the Prairie Wolves.
Stewart, throw, complete at the 44-yard line. Kalkworth was the intended target, made the catch.
He just settled right in the middle of that zone. Found the soft spot, settled in. Good toss from Stewart. Now that tempo, we saw him do this earlier. They're okay going in that hurry-up style. Plus, they have 3 timeouts left here.
Kalkworth in motion on a jet sweep. Cuts back in. Still on his feet, but he's tripped up by the shoelaces by Phil Latimer.
Latimer with those big old mitts reaches out there and just slows him down. Otherwise, there could have been a lot of green there for Kalkworth.
And with Phil, he's had kind of a quiet afternoon so far. We haven't mentioned him a whole lot in this game, but Latimer with the stop that time by the shoelaces. 2nd and 8 with over a minute to go here before halftime. Stewart swings it over here near side. It is complete. Eluding a tackle, still on the move is Nate Meyer. And Meyer takes it downfield, gets the first down at the Wesleyan 28.
Well, and he ran right through the first tackle. And if you're going to bring Meyer down, you got to hit him low and you got to take those legs away. This isn't going to do it. Too high there. You got to wrap up, got to drive through. Just a little old lay tackle there. First down here for the Tigers. Meyer, powerful runner, moves it.
First and 10. Don't want to try to extend this lead if they can here before halftime. Here it is, Meyer on the handoff. Tries to get out of the grasp of Vandenberg, who takes him down at the 21-yard line, a couple of yards short of the first down. And timeout call.
Doane College. They're a timeout of the half.
So we'll take a break with him too. With 50 seconds remaining, Doane with the football and on the move, up by 4 on the Prairie Wolves.
Oh, hi there. Sorry, couldn't see you at first. I'm Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy, and it's first Filter Friday, so I'm just checking my furnace filter here. Looks like it's about time for a clean one, which I just happen to have right here. You know, a small investment today can really reduce your heating costs and improve your efficiency. You can really see the savings. Eh? For more tips like this, visit us at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube. We will see you next time.
Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane met for the first time in 1896. Utah became the 45th state that year. The first X-ray was done. Charles Brady King makes Detroit's first car. The first unofficial college basketball game where Chicago beat Iowa 15-12.
Second and 3 for the Tigers.
So little factoids. What happened back in 1896, the first time when Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane met in football. Second and 3. Stewart swings it out here in the flat, and it's dropped. It's a forward pass. It was intended for Trevino. Clock winding down here with 40 seconds to go before the end of the half.
Still 2 timeouts for the Tigers. They want to know why the clock's running if it was an incomplete pass.
So they're going to have to reset the clock.
Which makes sense. You got to take a look at this, and because otherwise the Tigers would have needed to take a timeout. But on the incomplete, clock's going to stop for you, so they'll reset it here.
Please reset the game. Please reset the game clock to 44 seconds. 44 seconds.
I don't know if...
Third and 3 for the Tigers at the 21.
Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to catch up with that delay yet or not. Or if he's had... That wireless mic has had issues with him all afternoon. So third down. Here's Stewart. Meyer gets the handoff, picks up the first down, and an opening, flag thrown. Aaron Bainey makes the tackle, but a flag coming in.
Meyer on the carry, flags on the play.
It's a holding.
Offense number 59.
10-yard penalty. Replay.
And Todd was trying to handle Hunter Hand, and he was unable to do that. He twisted him around. Well, the run may have been by him, but he had already impeded that progress.
Third and 13 for the Tigers.
So both squads have had some penalties at very inopportune times.
31-yard line.
Seemed like that one drive where Nebraska Wesleyan just went 10 yards forward, 15 back, 5 forward, 5 back. They just kind of spun their wheels back in deep in their own territory. That one, a big turnover, or a big setback there in yards, especially for a field goal opportunity here at the end of the half.
Stewart going to take it. Looking to throw, passes through the hands, incomplete. Reed was the intended receiver downfield.
Pass is incomplete.
Fourth down here for Doane. The clock stops with 12 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. And now comes Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson into the
put it down right at the 38-yard line. So
38-yard attempt from the right hash mark.
You know, you got to be ready. You never know when you're going to get that gimmick play. A little fake here at the end of the half wouldn't surprise me.
Here's the kick, and it's blocked. It's blocked. It's going to be picked up, though, by Reed. Reed going to keep it, but Bainey is over there to corral him.
Kick is blocked.
He picked it up, and he can't advance it, though, on a blocked field goal, so that's going to come back to wherever he picked it up, the offensive team. Now, Nebraska Wesleyan could have returned it for a touchdown, but let's see, they're going to spot it here. It has to be right where it's touched. Been through this before. Unable to advance a blocked field goal, so wherever he caught it, that's where it's going to be.
There you see the
field goal blocked to the line of scrimmage. Recovered by the kicking beyond the line of scrimmage. The receiving team will retain possession. First down, Nebraska Wesleyan.
Sean Lindgren with the block, I believe.
First and 10 for Nebraska Wesleyan on their 27-yard line.
We'll check in with Corey Ross coming up here in just a bit. He'll try to catch up with Coach Keller here, get his thoughts on this first half.
Well, and it's been another entertaining one here in the 100th meeting. It hasn't been the swiftest of games, a long first quarter.
But you have to be pleased with what your offense has done so far compared to what we saw last week, too. And now Francis will take a knee as time runs out, and the first half comes to a close. Nebraska Wesleyan only down by 4 here at halftime of this 100th meeting between the Prairie Wolves and the Tigers. There you see some of the big plays from early on in the first half as Nebraska Wesleyan got Connor Zumpf. And Connor Zumpf with 3 touchdowns on the afternoon. There you see the kickoff return earlier from Jashawn Walder.
He's been a thorn in the side of the Prairie Wolves all afternoon in that return game. That one was 96 yards before they eventually punched it in. Out of the Wildcat on the next play. There's the big pick. A couple of them for Nebraska Wesleyan.
That's been really key today. The defense has really been top-notch too. And they've also had some big plays on offense as well. Corey Ross and head coach Brian Keller are in the south end zone area. Let's head down to the field and check in with both of them.
Hey, Coach, offense and defense had a great second quarter. What do you expect to do in the second half?
Well, first thing, our kicking game is atrocious. Maybe we need to get you out there to help us out, Corey, but we got to shore that up. We're killing ourselves there. If we eliminate those mistakes right there, then we should be up in the football game right now.
Okay. Good luck in the second half,
Thanks,
Coach.
Corey. Appreciate it.
Have a good one. There you go, Coach Keller, wanting to adjust this kickoff coverage, and they will. Having a great game, special game. Back to you guys.
All right, Corey, thanks a lot. And at the break, here on Homecoming at Al Papik Field in Crete, it is Doane 27, Nebraska Wesleyan 23 on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.